Hello. Hi there, I'm Teacher Oakley. Welcome to Verbling. Today will be the second class in our three-part series, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, in which we're looking at the Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 of the IELTS speaking test. Okay, today we're going to be, you're going to be practicing answering Part 2 speaking questions. This is the long-term part of the exam. You will be asked to describe something. Quite often it's an experience of some sort, but it could be a place, it could be a person. Occasionally it's actually an object. In any case, the format of the test is such. You will be handed a card by an interviewer, an actual human being, and he'll hand you a card with the question. The question will have the general question, describe blah, 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 blah. You should say, colon, and then it'll give some bullet points that you should cover in your discourse. Basically, kind of who, what, where, when, why, how type questions that should be covered in your description. In the actual test, they will tell you you should speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Translation, what they really mean, you better speak for 2 minutes or we're going to dock you points. So they'll say you can speak for a minute to 2 minutes, but really they mean speak for 2 minutes or else. Okay. In the exam, they'll give you a card. I'm going to show you the screen share. Same thing, so you can read the question as you're thinking about it. And they give you 1 minute to make notes. Now, a little clue here, a little thing that I do that I might recommend. It may work for you, may not, but take it or leave it. A little advice. One thing I note in the actual question is the verb tenses of the questions or the bullet points themselves. Actually, this is important in all English, not just IELTS, but it's important to follow the verb tense in the question. If somebody asks you a question, what did you do yesterday? What did you do? That's a past tense question. You need to speak in the past tense, not the present tense, or it just really doesn't make sense. Because in the IELTS Part 2, there are 3 or 4 bullet points you need to cover. Sometimes those bullet points don't change verb tense, but sometimes they do. You should be mindful of that. If the verb tenses change, that means they want you to be able to change your verb tense. So they're looking for you to do that. Okay. So one thing I do is when I'm making notes, and you guys here, you might want to have a paper and pencil so you can make notes. I'm going to write down the verb tense, first of all, in big letters, in capital letters, past, and then / perfect. Maybe there's part of the question is in the perfect verb tense. Great, just so I can remember to do that when I glance at my notes. Other than that, basically, I'm trying to look at some keywords in the question and think about some topic-related vocabulary and or synonyms and or most especially collocations, words that go together, because IELTS loves collocations. All right. I will now say hello to everyone and check on your microphones, and then we'll get started. Hello, Tanya.
Hello, hello. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. Welcome to the class. Hello, Salvatore.
Hello, good morning. Hi, everyone.
Good morning. Hello, hello. Hello, Khaled. Greetings.
Hello, Clay. Greeting.
Hi.
Morning.
morning, afternoon, whatever. Okay. And hello, Artheli. Hi there.
Hello, how are you?
Okay. Tired, but okay. Weak.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm weak and tired from my illness, from my flu. But I'm okay, just kind of loopy and tired. But I'm all right. I think I have enough strength to sustain me through the class. Okay, let's take a look. Tanya, you were first in, so
Okay,
I'm gonna
just a moment.
I'm gonna share this question with you. You can take a minute uh, to prepare if you'd like to. This would be a typical question. Notice. Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute. You can start making notes now, Tanya. Here it is. Describe a memorable journey you have made. Ooh, look at that. Perfect verb tense. Perfect, present perfect. You should say where you were going. Oh, look at that. Past continuous. How you were traveling. Past continuous. Why you were making the journey. Past continuous. And what made the journey so memorable? Oh, past simple. So, okay. What IELTS is really, they don't really care, if you don't have to be exciting. You don't have to tell a story that will make them weep and laugh and react. Not at all. Your object basically is to cover the verb tenses and be able to keep talking for 2 minutes. That's basically it. Okay, one last thing while Tanya's preparing, I will say again, I'm always talking about sneaky IELTS tricks. When we talk about IELTS, here's another one. They frequently put really the most important bullet point last and whatever. Why do I say that? Well, here's a good example. Explain what made the journey so memorable. Talking about why something is memorable, we're going to be looking at abstract adjectives, no doubt. So here, this gives you the chance to use abstract adjectives to talk about your feelings, and of course, adverb and adjective combinations. Okay, this is actually an essential part of this question. So when I see this question, I'm not thinking, oh, they want to hear a lovely story about my travels. No, what I'm thinking is they want to hear past simple and continuous and a present perfect, some kind of relationship to now in one of my sentences, at least one of my sentences. And they want to hear how I feel about things. They want to hear some abstract language. That's what I'm really thinking, because that's really what they want. Tanya, are you good, or you need a couple more seconds?
Okay.
Ready? All right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
But how much time have I got?
You've got 2 minutes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to tell you about the very picturesque place in Turkey. I like to travel a lot, and that's why I was last year in Turkey and visited the very picturesque place in territory of Turkey. Its name Phaselis. Phaselis, it's a very ancient city. It is a Greek city because you just not can relax on a beach in Turkey and take sunbathe, but you can traveled along the ancient places, and that's why I think that it's very best rest when you are in place such as Turkey, ancient places. And this city is a very interesting for research and to for walking. It's situated near the famous city, resort city, Antalya, maybe 15 kilometers from Antalya, and you can get there by boat or maybe by car or by bus and by boat because there are three harbors there and it's very interesting place because there are a lot of pine trees and mountains and at the same time Mediterranean Sea because this city was situated at the beach of Mediterranean Sea. Uh, this I was impressed this city because it's very ancient. There are a lot of ruins there and amphitheater, um, saunas, and some buildings. But of course, they are not the same as in ancient time. But you can gathered along the steps of the ruins. This city was founded at the 7th ancient before um, uh, Isa, Jesus, yes,
You're, you're
DC.
good. You're good. You can stop. You're
Okay,
actually like 2.5 minutes in.
okay.
Actually, classically, you ran out of time by the time you finished. Maybe you were talking about how you go there by bus, by whatever. You basically finished all this part, and you're just about to explain. Just before you said, I was really impressed. You should be impressed with this city because of. Just before that, your 2 minutes were up. They basically let you finish your sentence, and that would be it. So that's why I said the last sentence. It's a kind of a trick. If you're not keeping track of your time, you can easily get sidetracked adding detail earlier, and then just not get to this last part. But anyway, okay. Let me give you some feedback. First of all, dealing with the introduction. All right. Tanya's got the right idea. I'd like to tell you about, all right, if you have a case like this where they want a perfect tense, you have a very easy way to start, get it out of the way in your first sentence, and since you have time to think about it, you can do a couple things. I would like to tell you about, first of all, okay, you're using a modal, would, that's good. I would like to tell you about the most fantastic, picturesque, choose your adjective. I'll use fantastic. I think Tanya used picturesque or something, which is great. That's a great adjective. Place I have ever been. Okay, now look at this sentence as a first sentence. You can't always pull this off, but I would like to tell you about basically any part 2 question in IELTS. I've never seen a question you can't start with, I would like to tell you about. But if you look at the rest, the most fantastic, oh yay, I used a superlative adjective structure with a collocation necessary, fantastic place. Okay, I have ever been. Oh, great. I've got a present perfect construction with an adverb inserted, ever, being inserted in front of the verb in the correct place. So, I've also changed from I would like to tell you. I've changed my verb tense in one sentence. I've used a superlative structure. I've used a present perfect with an adverb. Great. I just checked about 4 or 5 boxes in the IELTS scoring sheet in one sentence. Boom. And this is a sentence you can pretty much plan. All right, that's terrific. Now I don't have to even concern myself with present perfect anymore. I'm done. It's out of the way. I've demonstrated that I can use present perfect. Done. Then I can just keep talking. Now, okay. All right, Tanya. You're talking about this place. I was last year in Turkey. I was a place I was at in Turkey last year. Well, doesn't matter. The prepositional phrases, we tend to put the time prepositional phrase last. I went to the south of France last year. It's a little more unusual to say I went last year to the south of France. It's not wrong. There's no rule. It's not incorrect. It's just not normal. So if you set it with the time phrase first, it's nothing. You're not going to lose points because technically it's not wrong. But if you set it with the time clause last in IELTS, this would probably help your score a little bit because you know that they do score the typical way that native speakers speak. That's what they're looking for. So even if you make grammatical errors, if these errors are typical native speaker errors, they actually reward you for that and give you much higher scores, 8s, 7.5, 8, and 9. They reward you for dropping syllables or using ellipsis, dropping words, even though it's completely grammatically incorrect to do so. That is the only way you can get a 9 in the pronunciation part of the test. Same thing in the sentence structure column of the scoring. If you know how to make mistakes or when to make mistakes, then you get rewarded for that. In fluency, if you know when to make a dramatic pause, they reward you for that. So anyway, okay, it's named. This is a common mistake. It's not, again, it's not really wrong, but native speakers don't say it's named whatever. We say it's called whatever. We only use name. Her name is Tanya. Okay. Her city is called Moscow, whatever. Her country is called Russia, what have you. The book is called Gone with the Wind. The movie is called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, whatever. We usually say called. We only use names for people. Really. Okay, and later you said you cannot. It was a little strange sentence structure. You cannot just relax and take sunbathe. You don't need to say take sunbathe. You can just sunbathe, first of all. And instead of saying you cannot just relax, maybe it's advice. Maybe you shouldn't just relax and sunbathe all day, but you should go out and see some of the monuments and beautiful architecture. Something like that. So it would be much better if you use the modal should, because okay, that's terrific. You're using a modal, which is something they're looking for, and you understand that should is used to give advice or make suggestions. Okay, but overall, not bad. Definitely got the 2 minutes in and went over 2 minutes. Okay, Tanya, thank you very much.
Thank you for correction.
Sure. Okay, so overall, She followed a logical order, although I think she kind of jumped from here to here to here. I don't know. I heard past tense for sure. I don't know if I heard past continuous. If I heard it, I didn't note it, and I didn't catch it, or I was distracted by something else. But that is important in this question. You would have to definitely try to use past continuous.
Please give an example according to my topic. How can I use past continuous?
Well, you're telling a story, and any of these, basically, any of these part 2 questions, you're telling a story. So it should be fairly easy.
For example, when I was there, I was walking along the ruins, like that.
Like that, just like that.
Okay.
Okay. You can use past continuous to set a mood. That's common, so that would be a good way to do it. We went to the beautiful beach, and there were birds flying, and the waves were coming in, crashing against the shore, and the whole scene was very peaceful. You can do that too, just to create a setting. So that's possible. Okay. Salvatore, guess what? Here you go. Here's yours. Describe a school which you went to. Past tense. You should say when you went there, how many people studied there, how long you spent there, and explain what you liked and disliked about it. Okay. Now this, you notice, is just all straight up past tense. There's nothing fancy. There's no continuous, no perfect tenses. This does not mean you should not use perfect or continuous tenses. Absolutely, using more complicated tenses are always going to be good. What it does mean is that you must use past tense. Okay?
Okay.
Do you want to take a few seconds?
Yes. Let me think 2 seconds.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I try, teacher.
You ready already? Okay. Great. Okay.
Yes.
I'm ready. Go for it.
Okay. When I went to school, I made a professional school, and I studied optic. I went to school in Milan, and in my class there were 20 people that studied with me. I spent 3 times in that school where I learned optic, optometry, and I don't know how to say, ophthalmology, and of course laboratory. When I went to the school, I don't like to study mathematics because I couldn't make exercise, and I didn't like chemical because it was very difficult in my opinion. And I like to study English. I like it to study English in my school, and practical to make glasses in laboratory. And of course, I like to spend my free time with my classmates because I had a good time in my life with my classmates, and I had a good relationship with my teachers, and they taught me a lot of things to work well in my job right now.
Yeah. Okay. Were you timing yourself? Because that was exactly 2 minutes, like 1 second over or something. Because that was like perfect timing. Did you time yourself, Salvatore? Because that seemed timed.
No,
It was
no,
perfect.
no, teacher. I don't.
Really?
I don't.
Okay. Well, pretty impressive. Okay, let me give you a little critique. All right. Starting at the beginning again, you don't have to do it, and it's not necessary to do it, but I would like to tell you about is a very easy way to start. But okay, you didn't start that way. Instead, you said something like, "I made a professional school." Well, no, you didn't. You didn't make a professional school. You went to a professional school, or better, I attended a professional school. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Some pronunciation, a couple problems with ed, past tense endings. You need to brush up on that, Salvatore. Learned,
Learned.
and liked with a T sound.
Liked.
Yeah,
Yes.
liked. Okay. Also, chemical, not chemical, chemical.
Chemical.
Yeah. And it was a course I didn't like to take chemical. It should be chemistry, actually.
Okay, chemistry.
I didn't like chemistry. Chemistry is the subject. Chemical, are the things, the actual chemicals. And then, interestingly, okay, an example of what I was talking about, drop syllables. The first time you said it, you said laboratory, and the second time you said it, you said laboratory. The second time is better. You didn't pronounce it the same
Okay.
both ways. The second way is better, laboratory. Drop that syllable. You're going to gain points for that. You're seriously going to gain like one whole bar score in question 2 in the pronunciation section just for doing that. Okay, so that's a good one. A good example right there. Please don't say I don't know how to say during your speaking. That's
Oh, sorry.
definitely going to lose you points on any of these, TOEFL, IELTS, CAE. If you say, I don't know how to say, how do you say in your middle of your discourse that throws out, it's not coherent, it doesn't stick together, it's not cohesive, it's coherent, it's not cohesive, doesn't stick together, it's totally, you're saying something completely separate from your topic, it's going to cost you points. And even worse, something I haven't mentioned, but in IELTS, whatever you do, don't say, oh, how do you say that in your own language? Because then you're done. You can't really, I don't know if it's level 3 or level 4, but you're not allowed a higher score than that. You've just boxed yourself in if you use your native language. That does not mean that you can't use like names. If it's a person's name, don't worry about it. Whatever, they're asking you to talk about a person, and the person's name is, of course, in your native language. Don't worry about it. It's okay. If it's a title of a movie or book, then what you should do is say a book called Wake Wake Wake, and in English that means The Snake Who Rode Horseback. Whatever. Translate it. Just use a phrase that says in English that means, roughly translated, it means something like that. That's the only way you can get away with using foreign language in the IELTS exam. Okay, I couldn't make exercises. You were talking about some schoolwork or math or something. It should be do. We use do for any kind of work, any kind of schoolwork. You do homework, you do math exercises, you do the worksheet, or any other work. You do the housework. You do your project. You do your preparation for the meeting. Do your report. Whatever. Do is the verb for work. Schoolwork or work. One other small problem, Salvatore. A lot of this is your hesitation method. Okay. Now we always have one, but a better hesitation method would be, instead of adding a vowel after the word, which is very common, it's better. There's worse things you could do. You could be having long pauses. You could be having repetition and self-correction. Okay, what you're doing is better than that, but to make it a little better, you could, oh look, I just said even I do it sometimes, but try to avoid it. And one thing that possibly you can do, especially if you're trying to think of material to discuss, you can stretch your vowel sounds and use a rising pitch, like that, in the last vowel sound of the word, to kind of stretch it. Now this is acceptable. You can't do it over and over and over all through the test, but you can do it once in a while when you're having a little problem thinking about what you need to say next. You can, instead of adding a vowel sound, stretch a vowel sound. It's better.
More slowly, teacher, right?
More slowly? Yeah, well, your pace was pretty good. Your pace was unnoticeable, which means it was good. I didn't notice it was too slow or too fast. So actually your pacing must have been good, because it didn't cause me to didn't distract me in any way. So actually, I would say your pace is quite good. But rather than saying, if you mean rather than saying after a word, yeah, it would be better to slow down a little and stretch the vowels instead. If that's what you're asking, then yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyway, that's about it. But you covered the 2 minutes perfectly and ended right when you ended, and you covered all the material in the question, and that's also very good. It was past tense, so verb tenses were covered. I did hear some more complex sentences mixed in there, so okay. Other than the things I pointed out, I don't know. It's probably a 5.5, maybe a 6 answer, I think, overall. Okay, Khaled.
Yes.
All right, time for you, Khaled, to be exciting. Are you ready to be exciting? Okay.
Also, I'm always excited.
Oh, good. Always excited. Terrific. Okay. All right, your question, describe an exciting experience in your life. You should say when the experience took place, where the experience took place, when and where, what happened, and explain why the experience was so exciting. So classic when, where, what, and why. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready. Now, one thing here, when I see this question, I know that one thing that they want to hear if I can tell the difference between using excited, I was excited, and exciting, it was an exciting movie. So, again, the way they word the question clues you in to what exactly they want you to be doing. They tell you what they want you to do. All right. Okay, so mostly past tense. I do see. Okay, no, was exciting. No, that's an adjective. So it's all past tense again. Okay. Anyway, Khaled, do you need a minute or to collect yourself?
Okay.
You're ready to go.
Okay. 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 I think in my life there was a lot of exciting experience in my life, but the one that I would like to talk about, our excited one, it was in the trip in 2013. We have made a group of visit from the from the ministry here in Libya. We have chance to visit the United States. We call this reverse trade trip. It's about the cybersecurity. I think this visit is affect my life and my experience, because we have made a lot of good company, leader company like IBM, like Microsoft, like Cisco, Juniper. So also, you know, it's the first time to see United States. We have travel. We have travel. I mean, traveling in many states in America. We have visiting DC and also San Francisco and Seattle. I think it's, as I told you, the excited one. It was in San Francisco when we visited Silicon Valley. I like the you know, the innovation, and technology guy. So it's a good chance to me to visit the companies like HP or Cisco. And you know, it was just we read about Silicon Valley, about the companies, but when I was there, I mean, I have touched some of those things. So even my picture or my profile, if you check my profile, you will find the picture or it's taken in the IP headquarters. So that's why I think it's this trip. It's not also not even the business trip. It was, I mean, we enjoy our time there. It's every place in America, I think it's different from the other place. So it was a good experience. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're well over 2 minutes as well. Okay. Very good. Now, I should say we've been ignoring it because it's not very important, really. After part 2, they will generally ask you a follow-up question, but it's usually a very simple follow-up question. I have a follow-up question for you, Khaled, but it's not a very good IELTS question. It's more an Oakley question. Did you get to go to Google at all?
No. To be honest, we didn't have chance to visit Google, but virtually I visited Google. I have, I mean, seeing a lot of, you know, there is a documentary. It's called Inside Google. I have watched it. Also, I have watched the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's about two salesmen or joined the team of the Google.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We
missed to visit Google. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's on my bucket list. I want to take a nap in the sleep pod in Google. Just something I want to do before I die. I want to sneak into Google and take a little nap. You know, it's just a little ambition. Okay. Okay. Let me give you a little feedback here. Okay. Okay. To start out with, all right. This is also a good way to start out, an alternate. You said, I've had a lot of exciting experience, but a lot of it should be experiences. It needs to be plural. You have to use plural when you use a lot of. I understand that experience can be countable or uncountable in some circumstances. Here, though, it's clearly countable. Your meaning. Okay, and you mentioned, you referred to 2015, and then in your very next sentence, you said, made, we have made, or I forgot exactly, but it's, because you just mentioned 2015, and this is already in the past, you could have used a past perfect tense. We had made a trip.
We had 2013.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
all
had
right.
made. Yeah, we had made. Right. Yeah, all
We
right.
had made a trip. Because you had already referred to a time in the past, so, and it, okay, so you could have used a past perfect. We have traveling. Okay, we traveled. Possibly we were traveling all over the country. Probably we traveled all over the country. Well, it's optional there, past simple or, but you cannot use have and traveling, ing. You can say we traveled, and you can't use present perfect either. You can't say we have traveled, because you're already back. You're done the travel, so it doesn't go
We
up to
had traveled.
no, just we traveled.
We traveled. Okay.
Yeah, it has to be simple because it's past, because it's over. It has no connection with now. And the very thing I warned you about, you said the most excited one, but it should be exciting one. It was exciting for you, but you said excited. Oh boy. And you talked about the picture. You said it's take in the headquarters or whatever. The picture. IBM headquarters. That's it. You're right. Exactly. It should be a passive. Should be a past passive. Simple past passive. It was taken in the IBM headquarters. Precisely. Okay, so some verb tense problems. A little bit of problems with a little bit too much filler. A little too many similar to Salvatore. Good work on that. Verb tense, a little bit, I think, was mostly the problem. Other than that, good flow, good cohesiveness, good vocabulary. All right.
So the score is approximately.
Well, that's. I don't know. Just thinking off the cuff, not thinking about it too deeply. Probably 6.5. You really would have hurt yourself in the grammar, but most of it
okay.
Good.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Araceli.
Yes.
Hi there. Okay, got a specific topic for you to deal with, and all right, we're changing up the verb tense a little bit. So here you go. Describe a newspaper or magazine you enjoy reading. So present tense. What kind of newspaper or magazine it is? You should say how often you buy it. What articles it has. Explain why you enjoy reading it. This one's like all present tense with a very specific topic. So you're describing a very specific thing here. Okay, and actually it's an art, it's a thing. So, all right. Well, there it is. Do you need a little time?
No, I can start now.
Okay. Right.
Well, nowadays I don't actually read a physical newspaper. What I do is I search the internet and I read my favorite newspapers online. I suppose I read a lot of them, and sometimes I read them in English or in Spanish, but I particularly enjoy reading El País, which is a Spanish diary. The reason why I love to read this diary is because it collects a lot of news about Spain and Spanish economy, and this is the kind of things I'm interested in. I usually read it every day, and I browse the newspaper, searching for news about science, about politics and economics. It saddens me usually reading things about the economy, the society, because sometimes the crisis has a very deep impact on people's lives. And what I enjoy more of reading it is the science section, because I like to be aware of new advances and things that people have discovered. I
Oh,
don't know if I have. Maybe I should have. I was not timing myself. I don't know if I have
I
to
was.
talk.
I am. I'm timing you. Yeah, you had like 35 more seconds.
Wow, that was bad. I ran out of ideas. It's a very hard topic.
Uh,
Well, I can add something now. Well, this is the main newspaper I usually read, but sometimes I also read English-speaking newspapers, because I like to be aware of what happens outside my country, and also I am interested on reading news about Spain from the point of view, for example, of American media or British media. And that is very interesting because they don't usually agree with the Spanish opinions.
hmm. Okay, well, see, that would have done it. Okay, well, that was actually a very good example, other than you were short. Now, see, she spoke very almost perfectly. I only heard one tiny little mistake. I heard some very good things. This is the one I particularly like. That's a great phrase. It saddens me when I read, okay, these are great phrases for just speaking, not even that they're topic related, but they're just so native speaker sounding, like very, very, they're a little bit unusual, but on the other hand, at the same time, they're very, very natural for native speakers. These are good. This is very good. You did a great job speaking. Small problem. Impact. I'm not sure. Maybe I just missed it, but they make an impact on people's lives. I don't know if you said
Yes, yes, I see that.
you did. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, then, see, IELTS, they have the luxury, because they record you. They can just rewind and listen again. Did she really say on or not? So, um,
Yes, I say that. Yes.
okay.
So what's the mistake? It has an
So,
impact on people's lives?
yeah. So, basic impact on people's lives, right. So, basically, that was virtually perfect. The one thing would be pronunciation, even though it was very good. I can't give you a perfect score, because the only way to get a 9 in pronunciation in IELTS is if they actually cannot tell if you are a native speaker or not. If they really can't tell if you're a native speaker or not, that's the only way you get a 9. So in other words, you probably would end up with like a 9, a 9, a 9, and an 8.5, which unfortunately means that your score for this question would be 8.5. How it works is they average out those 4 categories, which are fluency and cohesion, lexical resource, i.e. vocabulary, sentence structure, i.e. grammar, and pronunciation, which includes syllable stress and intonation. So those 4 categories, 25% average together. So unfortunately, what happens is it they what do you call when you have average numbers? My God, help me with my mathematics. What's the word, Araceli? When you average numbers,
The
you round down. Round.
Okay.
That's a word I couldn't remember. They round down. So in other words, if you got a 9, a 9, a 9, and an 8.5, of course you're going to average like 8.87 or something, but they have to round down to the nearest 0.5. So that would be an 8.5, in other words. Okay, but that was a very, very good answer. Couldn't really improve on it very much. Except that it was short. Now, because it was short, that gives you a lot of problems. Now, it does allow me
Yes.
to illustrate the fact that instead of having an 8.5, you'd probably end up with a 7, which is a big drop. Because it actually says in the scoring, able to speak at length, can use adjectives at length, can use. There's a number of categories, little check boxes they have, which says at length. So if you're short, 35 seconds in speaking in part 2, then they figure, okay, she does a great job in the sprint, but when we give her a marathon, she can't handle it. So they're gonna dock you for that.
I think the problem is you don't have. Well, I know the taking IELTS, but CAE, but it's quite similar. They don't
Yeah.
give you a chronometer. You can't be looking at a watch. They do have a watch themselves, so I'm very bad measuring time. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I should take my my phone and put it on the table to watch the time or something. Because
They
you
won't.
know.
They won't let you use your phone, but they will let you wear a watch.
Okay, I'll try to manage and wear a watch because it's very difficult if you are not
Yeah.
watching the
Yeah,
time you have left to adjust that 2 minutes exactly.
and you're absolutely correct. And for the other sections of the test as well, I mean, holy smokes, reading and listening, those 10 minutes you're transferring answers, or for the reading section, for the writing section, which is timed, you. There's no rule that says IELTS has to provide a clock on the wall in where everybody can see it. Usually they do, from what I understand, but there's not necessarily a rule. So you may want
Yes,
to wear a watch.
for what I know, for the writing section, for the reading section,
Absolutely.
they provide a clock and they also tell you you have just 10 minutes left, like that. So
Oh
there's
yeah,
no
they do
problem.
that.
But
Right.
yes, the problem is that I don't have any watch, but
I
I
don't
have
either.
to. I need one. I have to get one for this.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I actually took the IELTS test, and I just took the premise in part 2. I'm just going to keep talking till he says shut up, no matter what. But I can do that.
Yeah.
I can filibuster. I can just keep talking forever.
Yes, it depends because it depends on the topic. This topic was not very good. I didn't know what to say. So I can improvise, but sometimes it's like a very interesting topic and you can speak for hours about it.
Right.
But it depends on the topic.
Right. Now here, what I thought you were going to do, I was kind of waiting for, is I thought you might actually talk about a specific article or something. I was thinking the same thing. All right, it's very specific, so it might be a challenge to talk for 2 minutes. But again, as we talked about in other classes, you can make up any information. You can make stuff up.
Yeah, so you can say, for example, I like this diary because I read an article about blah, and then
So
you can give some examples.
yeah, no. It would be okay to talk about I recently read an article, for example, about the terrorists in France, and it was very emotional for me. And you can just make stuff up. I mean, probably you did read that article because obviously,
All
clearly,
of us did.
all of us did. I'm sure, right? Um, okay, but anyway, the point being that you can totally make stuff up if you really want to. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this? All this stuff. Okay. All right. Shall I try to do one as an example? Ha! real quick, or one of you guys? Well, we've only got like 2 minutes. Let's see if we've got 2 minutes. Let's see if I can do one in 2 minutes without prepping to try to give you an example. And now, of course, if it's a horrible example, then I'm going to feel like an idiot. Okay, I didn't pick this beforehand. This is just the next one. Okay, I'm going to time myself. Hang on, let me put on my timer. Okay. All right, I would like to tell you about one of my favorite shops in my city. This shop is located in a mall, which is conveniently only about 1.5 kilometers from my house. Sometimes I can even ride my bicycle to go there. This shop is kind of unusual in the Philippines. I don't really see shops like this very often. Anyway, it's an outdoor sports shop which sells camping equipment, fishing equipment. I've even seen skis and snowboards, which of course is completely ludicrous because we don't even have snow. A single flake of snow has not fallen in the Philippines in the history of mankind, so it's a little goofy. But on the other hand, it's kind of cool. I used to love to visit these types of shops when I lived in United States, looking at the newest gear and the newest fabrics used in tents and in mountaineering gear, and how technology affects some of the sporting equipment for outdoor sports. I find that fascinating. It's really cool the people I meet in there as well, because you meet people who look like they just came off the mountain, like literally. There are people here in the Philippines who literally make their living on the mountains. And of course, occasionally they're going to need some kinds of supplies. And in any case, it's very interesting talking to them. Also, a reason I really love the shop is because the customer service is wonderful. I once had a problem with a product, and I brought it back, and they exchanged it without even looking at the receipt. It's really amazing. And as well, the staff is quite knowledgeable about their products. So anyway, I think that's probably my favorite shop here in the Philippines. Boom, I went over about 10 seconds. There, what's my score? What are you guys going to score me?
10, 10, of course.
10 out of 10 out of 9.
Yeah, it's good because you addressed all of the points and it was so natural. So it was not like he's reading one point after another. It sounded like natural talk, you know.
Exactly.
So you did really well. Even for a native speaker, you did it great.
Okay, well that is the point right there. I'm so glad you said that, in fact, because that's exactly the point. In order to get a really high score, it doesn't sound like you're in a test. It should sound like you're just talking to a friend at Starbucks or what have you. Okay, so that's exactly the point. So I'm glad. If that's how it sounded to you, then good. That's what I was trying for. Hello, Nader. Goodbye, Nader.
Bye, Nader.
Bye, Nader. Bye, Nader. My time is up. Nice to see you. Maybe I'll see you a little bit later. I think I got classes later on. Well, a few hours. But, okay. See ya. Have fun at work. Arteli.
Thank you, teacher.
Salvatore.
Thank you.
Everybody. Khaled. Bye-bye.